Hey everybody, Kenny Jr. here, and welcome back to Stick to Games. Today's episode, we're going to be covering a track from Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. And what an appropriate game title, as today's focus is going to be on ghost notes. The track we're covering today is called Clashing of Waves, written by our girl, Michiru Yamane. We're going to find a 2-bar pattern that gets repeated over and over, but it is insanely busy and littered with ghost notes in both of our hands. In addition, we're also going to see an interesting use of the multiple bounce stroke in our snare jump for a really cool effect. These elements are going to pull together for a really cool sounding jump part. I'm very excited to show these off, so let's go ahead and take it to the set. As I mentioned earlier, all we are looking at is a 2-bar pattern that gets repeated over and over, but it is plenty enough to keep us drummers busy. We can see we have a 16-beat pattern in the hi-hat part. There is one section where we need to open and close, however your eye is probably drawn to the use of accents. This notates that all of the downbeats and upbeats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, will be played louder. Of course, when you have accents, that means you conversely bring the non-accented strokes down, which we find in the 16th notes between the E's and the A's. This gives us a form of ghost notes in the right hand. To minimize stress on your right arm as you play that part, you'll notice that you want to have a lot of fluidity between your downstrokes and your upstrokes. You're going to want to come down heavy as to bring out those accents, and then as you make your way up, you can get basically a free hit from simply making that motion. Another method is to use the drop catch method, in which you simply force your stick down, and as it bounces, you catch it back by flexing the rest of your fingers. Next is going to be our snare part. We have 2s and 4s, of course, but on the first bar, we find a ghost note on the E of the 3rd beat and the Ah of the 4th. Notice how they are notated within brackets. This is a standard notation to ensure that they are played as ghost notes. Now, the special thing about that next one you may notice is the Z symbol, which we learned from our Zelda marching lesson, means to conduct a buzz stroke. When notated like this, that means we will be performing a single stroke buzz, but we will play it as a ghost note thanks to our brackets. Once again, with that one, you pay super close attention to the type of strokes you're using. You notice for the downbeats, I'm coming down with a nice big full stroke, and then I'm finishing with my stick low to get ready for the very next ghost note. And then once I play the ghost note, I'm bringing it back up in preparation for my next full stroke, and repeating that process over and over again. Next, I'll demonstrate the kick drum part. Nothing light found here, as the kick drum part is just as busy as the arms, but our kick drum actually plays the same exact thing measure to measure, so that part of it is nice. Lots of syncopation here, so I'll demonstrate this one to you as well. Now, we're going to be putting all of those elements together to play bar 1. Now we'll quickly go over bar 2. The hi-hat will continue the 16 beat with strong pulses, just no open close anywhere in this one this time. The kick stays the same just as I mentioned before, so the only thing to worry about is the snare change. And we only add one more ghost note on top of a kick, and that other one we played on the 3rd beat before. This time we'll be doing a single stroke buzz for that and the last one of the measure. So with that minor change in mind, let's put both bars together now. Finally, I'll show you a couple of fills we hear sprinkled inside of these patterns. The first is a 16th note snare fill that ends with a single stroke buzz. This is found in measure 4. The next is found in the first ending at measure 12, where we play another snare fill, this time leaving a gap for our kick to show some face. The next fill is found in the second ending. This one is simple. It basically cuts off on the E of the 4 and puts a tiny little break in the pattern, just major enough to signal to move to the next part. The final fill comes in the form of 4 30-second notes on the snare on the upbeat of 4. Very simple, just a quick little turnaround to bring us back to the top. Now, we have a lot of ghost notes traveling around, so it'll be very important to remain conscious of these notes and make sure we're putting stress where it belongs and not lose any of our coloration. It took me a lot of practice to get me where I have it now, and it's still not at all perfect, but hopefully I'll be able to perform it well enough at tempo to give a good enough demonstration of what we're listening for. That said, let's go ahead and run it from the top. And alright everybody, that just about covers everything we had to talk about today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button and also subscribe so you can see my future videos. Remember to hit me up on social media, Instagram or Twitter, if you want to make a special request for a video or if you just want to drop by and say hi. Also be sure to check out my website where you can find these transcriptions as well as other content that I produce. I hope you enjoyed everything today and I hope to see you again soon. Till next time.